Today our keynote is Reuben Schuff. Reuben is an aerospace engineer, space exploration enthusiast, traveler, speaker, author, juggler, parent, and a person who stutters. He contributes to the stuttering community in a variety of ways. As an advocate, a volunteer, including the NSA, Friends, Stutter Talk, Camp Say, the Siskin Stuttering Center in Asha. Reuben and his wife, that's me, and their baby son, Jonathan, he'll say hi soon as well, live on the Space Coast in Florida. And fun fact about Reuben, his long-term vision is to build a school on the moon. With that, we welcome Reuben.
Reuben Schuff is my name. Saying that is overcoming the single most challenging thing of my life. It's a gift today to be speaking to an audience of people who share something uniquely in common with me. We stutter, and stuttering is part of our lives. And that's going to be true in one way, shape, or form for the better part of the rest of our lives. And that's okay. And that can be hard. I reflected a lot on what type of a speech to give today. I thought maybe it should be informational, and I could try to give you the secret to life, the universe, and everything. I thought perhaps maybe it should be motivational, and I should try to convince you to work hard and achieve the goals you seek. I thought perhaps it should be inspirational, and I should try to convince you to never stop shooting for the stars. I thought about all of this, and I decided that what we might need as we start our convention, more than information or motivation or inspiration, is to be welcomed and walked with. How many of us are here for the first time? Welcome. How many of us are here for more than the first time? Welcome. In some ways, we're all here for the first time. You may have heard this saying, you never cross the same river twice, because it is neither the same river nor are you the same person. This year I'm here for the first time as a parent. Our son, Jonathan, is 1. And he's starting to walk and talk. Take a moment to think about the ways that you might be here for the first time yourselves. Welcome. I invite you to I invite you to walk with me on my stuttering journey. I'll tell some stories. I'll talk about some hard times. I'll talk about some good times. I'll laugh a little, maybe cry a little. Let's walk together. Come back with me about 10 years ago. Friends was in Raleigh. We were doing a one-day convention, and I was getting ready to moderate the panel of people who stutter. By this point, I'd been volunteering in the community for almost a decade, and I'd become pretty comfortable speaking in forums like this. Before we start, Lee quietly comes up to me and whispers, "Reuben, remember to stutter." I thought, wow, what a paradox. When I'm okay with stuttering, you don't hear me stutter very much. You'll notice me stutter and struggle less today than I do in my day-to-day life. You'll see me super comfortable here. Why is that? I think it's because stuttering is okay here. And maybe stuttering is okay out there too. Let's explore. I want to share with you how I got into space and rockets. I was 5, and I think every 5-year-old boy had a moment where he either wanted to build spaceships or fly them. I wanted to build them. I'm still 5. And I hope that never changes. Fortunately, I was strong enough in math and science in high school to get into engineering school. I started college in 2000. I know that seems like a long time ago. One night, some of my freshman engineering cohort and I were hanging out in our dorm room drinking sodas. Sodas called Natty Ice. For those of you who haven't gone to college, you'll learn what that means later. We were going around the circle sharing what we wanted to be when we graduated. One of the guys talks about how he's going to be an electrical engineer and make good money in his hometown. Another guy talks about how he's going to become a civil engineer and work for his father's company in construction. It gets to me and I say something like, I'm going to be an aerospace engineer and build rocket engines for interplanetary spacecrafts. This civil engineer kindly and curiously looks at me and asks, "Are there any jobs doing that?" Honestly, I hadn't looked into it too much. I knew there were at least 3 jobs, and I figured I would get one of them. I knew what I wanted to do was hard. and I felt it was worth the risk. Intro to Freshman Engineering was my first class where we had to stand up and give short technical presentations. I crashed and burned trying to stutter as little as possible. In the required freshman communications class, we had to give 5 speeches, 5 minutes long. I would practice and practice and practice trying to stutter as little as possible and crash and burn. In sophomore design, we had to give several short talks. I would practice and, you guessed it, practice, trying to stutter as little as possible and crash and burn. The paradox of stuttering here was that the more I tried to hide my stuttering, the more I would struggle to communicate. My junior year, I have almost no memory of. I think I was almost totally disassociated. My wife, Kaya, will talk about stuttering as a trauma and disassociation tomorrow. Tune in then for more. In senior design, we had to give 10-minute talks every other week. I have vivid memory of my first attempt. I struggled to get through that so hard that the professor asked me to come to his office to discuss what the options were. I was 23 and on the cusp of my goal of completing my degree in aerospace engineering and feared losing everything. His suggestion was to stand and point to my charts and not say anything. I politely declined his invitation to be silent. I think he was trying to help me, but I knew that if I couldn't find a way to overcome my fear of showing stuttering, I would never reach my dream of building those rocket engines. I kept going and I finished the class with an extra 40-minute special topic presentation and stuttered through it. I think I got a B in senior design. It was a tough program. Half of the freshman engineering cohort would drop out before graduation. I made it. It was hard, and it was worth it. I met Lee and friends around 2006. She and Crystal Kubart, who is in the room, were doing a one-day convention in West Lafayette, Indiana. I was at Purdue studying for my master's degree in aerospace engineering, and Crystal was studying for her master's in speech pathology, and we were in group stuttering therapy together. I was still chasing fluency and thought that it was the answer to life, the universe, and everything. I still wanted to stop stuttering, and I felt like Fluency would unlock my dreams. I was wrong, and I spent a lot of time trying to hide. There was something important about group stuttering therapy that helped me make a shift in my perspective. It wasn't overnight, and I still really, really didn't want to stutter. I'd rather hide. I would do more design classes. I would co-author 5 or more conference papers. I would give oral presentations at professional conferences. I defended my master's thesis in a 1-hour oral argument and earned my 2nd degree in aerospace engineering. And I stuttered. It was all hard, and it was worth it. I thought I was doing pretty well when I finished graduate school at 26. I got a job working in design and development of rockets in 2007. It turns out there were slightly more than 3 jobs, but not many more. And I did get one of them. I thought I'd overcome a lot of my fear of stuttering. I thought I'd learned to stop hiding, and I had made a lot of progress. And I found the working world to be significantly harder than academia was. And again, I crashed and burned. I got plugged in with the stuttering community a lot after that. And I got plugged in with avoidance reduction stuttering therapy. I started volunteering with the National Stuttering Association. I started writing and speaking about stuttering in all kinds of places. I finally really learned to stop hiding. A lot of my motivation and drive to communicate well came from my passion to achieve my dreams of working in space exploration. It was something I cared about so much that I was willing to take huge risks. It was hard, and it was worth it. I started my career 18 years ago, and since then a lot has happened. I've moved across the country 5 times. I've worked in aerospace and defense at 4 different companies. I've presented to government agencies, both military and civilian, such as the Air Force, NASA, and others. For the last 10 years, I've been an engineer at SpaceX. We've gone from being the underdog to the big dog, for better or worse. I've helped in a significant capacity with almost 500 missions of the Falcon rocket program, 18 of those carrying humans to orbit, with another one coming up later this month. I've helped launch a number of space telescopes that study the Earth, the planets, and the universe. In just the last 2 years, I've directly worked on 5 different private lunar landers. my 5-year-old self is nailing it. Most of the roles I've had over the years, I've been in the middle of solving the problem and talking to a lot of different people to do that. Some days I'm on the production floor. Other days I participate in meetings, some in small groups, some with leadership, directors, VPs, and customers. I'm in the factory, I'm in the lab, I'm on the test stand, and I'm at the launch site. I present design reviews, mission readiness reviews, and failure investigation reviews. I do interviews from both sides of the table. I've been a project lead and a team leader. I've been hired many times and made hiring decisions about others. I'm on the phone, I'm in person, and I'm on the radio channels that we use for critical operations. And I stutter. Those are some of the high points. Let me not forget about some of the lows. For every job that I've gotten, there's been about 40 or more that I've applied for that I haven't gotten. For all my successes and engines and spacecrafts, there's been many more letdowns. Here are a few that stand out. At the end of my undergraduate degree, I was interviewing with the company that at the time I considered to be the preeminent company in rocket engine design and manufacturing. A few minutes into my interview with the recruiter, he says to me, "Your grades are so low, I don't know why I'm speaking to you." That was memorable. I tried to explain how my hands-on skills were amazing, and with my B+ grades mixed with my aptitude for building hardware, I would be an asset to the company. He wasn't buying it and sent me on my way. After graduate school, I interviewed with NASA Jet Propulsion Laboratory in California, widely considered to be the preeminent organization building spacecrafts and rovers to explore the solar system. And the job was working on the next Mars rover. I gave a pretty good interview. And stuttering didn't get in the way. And I got crushed by other candidates with a lot more experience than I had, and sent on my way. Four of the 5 moon landers I've worked on in the last two years have crashed or partially crashed on the moon. The Falcon rocket that I've spent the majority of my career working on has catastrophically failed 3 times during my time at the company. Starship, our next generation spacecraft, has failed the last 3 times in a row. It's hard out there. If you're doing anything hard, expect to fail a lot. And then keep going. It's worth it. You might be wondering why working to explore space matters to me so much that I've been willing to take all these risks. We have so many problems on Earth. Why spend time and money worrying about the moon and the stars? It's a great question. Thanks for asking. Space exploration transforms our perspective, and it demonstrates that all things are possible. In the larger context, it's about changing our perspective on our planet and our species, humankind, and our perspective as caretakers of this special place that we call Earth. It's about our role being neighbors with our fellow Earthlings. In other words, space exploration is life, the universe, and everything. I think it can take us getting off of the planet and looking back to really change our perspective. I wish I could say that technological and scientific innovations are what I think is going to save the world. While we do need those, they don't save the world. What saves the world is believing that it's our responsibility to build a better future. 28 years ago, Lee and John believed in changing the future for us. Friends who Stutter is the organization that changed the perspective of a generation. Today, Karen and Roisin and a huge list of people helping to facilitate the conference this year continue that belief. I believe that confidence, courage, and the joy of communication aren't in the sounds and syllables of our speech. Those live in the change and the choice that we make to be our best selves as we pursue our passions and try to make use of our talents to make the world a better place. Our confidence and our competency don't lie in fluency. The success and the joy of communication lives in our willingness to endeavor to do hard things, our resilience to face our fears, our endurance to navigate failures. This is our freedom and our grace to live our best lives. My conclusion is that it is okay to stutter out there, and that stuttering can be hard, and it's worth it. Life can be scary, and we can be courageous, and it's worth it. Changing our perspective changes the world, and it changes ourselves. For stuttering, it's a perspective shift from the sounds and syllables of so-called fluent speech to the confidence and effectiveness of communication. Fluency isn't gold, and stuttering isn't bad. It's the hiding that brings struggling. And we can break the paradox. It's not about fearless stuttering or not caring how I struggle when I speak. It's about being able to feel the fear, notice it, and stutter through the moment with my eyes open. I may, dare I say I likely will, struggle to speak at times more than I like or enjoy. And I still have some choice in how I communicate. As I prepared for this talk, I thought about so many of the Friends keynotes that have come before me. Many of those good friends are in the room today. What could I add that hasn't already been said? The truth is, I don't have anything mind-blowing to add. I'm simply one more person who stutters, who is doing something that I believe is important to the world. And so are all of you. There's a generation of us who stutter, who share the belief that what we have to say and do in the world is more important than our fluency. My encouragement for our convention is to take a risk while you're here. Take a risk to share your story. Take a risk to feel the fear. Take a risk to show stuttering. It may feel hard, and it's worth it. As we enjoy this convention together, take a risk to walk with someone you don't know yet. Take a risk to build a new community. It may be hard, and it's worth it. Take a risk to change the world by changing your perspective. That's what Lee and a generation of friends have taught me. And that is why I explore space. It's hard, and it's worth it. Thank you for walking with me. Welcome.
Thank you, Reuben, for sharing your thoughts with us. It's a wonderful way to start the conference. And so I was sitting here thinking about word substitution.
Yeah.
Something which is a tool for all of us. How did you handle, in the engineering field, school and in the field, word substitution, or did you not do so?
Thanks for the question, Jeff. A particular story is coming to mind that I'll tell. I think in some ways the stress and the difficulty of my job has been helpful because as Jeff points out, there's sometimes just no way to avoid certain things and do what the role is. This is a story from about 15 years ago. I was at my first engineering job, and I'm a beginning engineer. I feel like I have the world to prove, and my job is to do the disassembly report for an engine that we were tearing down. And we've got 44 bolts on this particular flange, and the instruction is we have to untighten each of these bolts by number and record a particular thing. And my job as the engineer is to take the detailed record of what we find. And I have to call out to the technician number by number. I've got 44 bolts. I think the answer is the task has been so big. The answer actually has become so simple of make the noise of the next sound that I need to say. Because there's just nothing else that's going to get me through it.
Hi. So I have a son who is 8 years old, and he stutters and has ADHD, and he wants to do exactly what you do.
Cool.
And so my question, I was taking notes for him.
Okay, cool.
And my question is, how did you manage to, because he's very sensitive in the acceptance component, both for his stuttering and the ADHD. So how would you counsel someone at any age on how to be brave and go through these interviews and your job, since it sounds like you have to do a lot of speaking, so I can relay the message to him. And he doesn't have to say that I don't understand, because I could say I got it from someone who, who does what he wants to do.
Yeah. There's a lot to say here. But we've got the next 3 days, right? Okay. I didn't meet another person who stuttered until I was in my early 20s, and I had a very long arc of changing my perspective on stuttering and communication. So in a lot of ways, you and him and your family being here and being plugged into a community like this is already changing what that arc is. I touched on it a tiny bit in my speech, the importance of group therapy to me, and the importance of the stuttering community. it's a long walk, I would say, and some of the things that have been really important to me is to celebrate paradoxical successes with people who understand stuttering. What I mean by that is maybe my success is showing up to a mock interview event and just struggling through that day and trying to keep my eyes open 3 times. And like that one thing is my success. And then I kind of need somebody who gets it to go celebrate that with, because the rest of my peers, they tell me, oh, Reuben, you sound so well. You're not stuttering today. Good job. I'm like, thanks. But that's not what actually matters. So I would say that those type of ongoing supports, and it's a walk that I would try to walk with others on. And I would love to meet your son.
So I was just gonna ask for like tips to like speak in like front of like a big crowd, kind of like right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, because I have like stage fright a bunch, and so I just need some
Cool.
tips.
Awesome. Well, I would keep doing what you're doing. You're doing, yeah. You'll get a lot of opportunities during this convention to stand up and talk, and I give you a lot of credit for standing up now. I would say give yourself permission to feel the feelings when you're standing up and looking out, and it feels anxious, it feels exciting, maybe your hands sweat a little bit as you're doing it. Feel it and connect with it, and just keep doing what you're doing every chance that you get.
Thank you.
Of course.
What motivated you to keep doing what you're doing?
Yeah, I think my belief that it matters in the scope of the world. For me, space exploration is like the thing that I just feel super passionate about, and I feel like I was fortunate to just get that passion young and have that be nurtured. For other people, I think it's more of a discovery type thing. What I think is so interesting within the Friends community and the leadership community here is everyone is doing something that they believe in so much, that they think is so important. And I think we're all right. And there's a lot of different things that we need to do to change the world. And in some way, shape, or form, I feel like I get to be part of that. And that's the spark that keeps me going.
What would you tell your younger self to motivate him?
Great question. Well, I have a 1-year-old now, so I'm actually thinking of it as what would I tell him now? I would say it's okay to stutter, and that pursuing your dreams and your passions, that stuttering doesn't need to get in the way of pursuing your dreams and your passions. And if he's into space as much as I am, I think it's great. And if he's not, I want to expose him and bring exposure to as many people as I can to whatever really inspires you and whatever really clicks with you, and then let you know that your communication is so much more than your stuttering.